I have a feeling this might ruffle some feathers. Two of these knives are going to get returned. The other one is going to stay in my collection. We're going to talk about cold steel in general, the knives that are some of my most carried, and which ones you might want to avoid and for what reason. Let's go ahead and get started. So if you've never held a cold steel before, there's a couple of things you're going to notice right away. Number one, they are usually not very small. This one is 3.5-inch blade, and the Recon 1 comes in at a 4-inch blade. Both of them are in S35VN, and they are made in Taiwan. The same thing is true somewhat for the 8010 3.5-inch blade, made in Taiwan, and you're going to see some major differences with some of these designs. Now, here's the thing. I've had the opportunity to try a number of different models from this company, and I thought that the Code 4 could be a slightly upgraded version of one of my absolute favorite cold steel knives, and that is the Cold Steel Air Lite. Now, this one is a much newer design that they have released only in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years or so, and it has quickly become my go-to hard-use budget knife, coming in around $50 to $60. This is just a fantastic knife. It took incredible amounts of abuse from me. I pounded this through a 2x8 with no damage whatsoever to any of the components, even though it's not even using a steel liner. It's just built into the G10. It's really quite amazing. So this is not a substitute for the Air Lite or an upgraded Air Lite, unfortunately. And it's not the action, it's the handle that's the killer. The fact that this has no texture, it's slippery. I mean, really slippery. So slippery, in fact, that I don't feel comfortable with it. And the other thing is it bites heavily into my hand right here, where they have kind of, I don't know why, but they've sort of made it so it gets to kind of a point here towards where the blade comes out. It's not very comfortable in hand. In fact, one of the least comfortable cold steels I've carried in recent memory. So I'm going to be returning this one for sure. Now, the next one on the table, the Recon 1, they're not exactly comparable to the 8010 because you can see it actually has a substantially bigger blade, bigger handle. There is, however, one knife that I don't know why I sold it, but was even better than the Recon 1 from a deployment perspective, which is one of the biggest things, and I liked the ergonomics of it even more, and that is the Cold Steel Voyager. Now, there's two variations. There's the large and the XL. I've never held an XL, although I'm very, very tempted to get it. I've been tempted for many years. And I think I'm finally going to pull the trigger just because I need something hilariously big like that. Just one in the collection for fun. And the thing is the deployment of the Voyager does not seem to have the same issues as this Recon 1. Like when I go to flick it open, no matter what I do, like I really have to position my hand in a weird, awkward position in order to get it to deploy. Now, I don't feel like that with something like the 8010. Not only does it close incredibly smooth, but the large thumb stud makes it absolutely no problem. And just maybe the position is different as well, but I'm not getting any of those issues that I would otherwise have. Now this one, no issues whatsoever. And I bought this as a backup to an 8010 that I already have. This is the one that's in my personal collection. And I love this thing. It's probably the most comfortable handle on any folding knife that I currently own. These are custom handles from a friend that I met on Instagram. Phenomenal work. And yeah, not much more to say. It's one of the best designs, hard use knives that currently exist. The fact that you can get these sometimes for under $100 is incredible when you think about the fact that it's made in Taiwan, in S35VN, and just is a fan-freaking-tastic design. Just one of the best hard-use knives maybe ever made. Between that, the 8010, the Air Lite, and the Voyager, I have seen no reason to expand out past those. But maybe you guys have a design that you'd like me to take a look at as well. The one that I've always wanted to get to kind of represent the most aggressive defensive knife maybe ever made is the what is it called, the Black Talon 2, and fully serrated, of course. That thing looks wicked as hell, and I'm seriously tempted to get that one, but purely for, well, I don't want to say research, but to sort of exemplify all the characteristics of a truly defensive knife. But in this context, like for a daily carry, it has to deploy properly, it has to be useful all the time, and it has to close smoothly as well and have good texture and all those other things. Otherwise, I'm not likely to carry it. So these two, 100% will carry it. And in fact, in the near future, you're probably going to end up seeing this knife in some very dressed up scales. I'm looking forward to showing those to you, but I don't want to say any more until it's here. But yeah, I just am a huge fan of that particular knife. And when it comes to ultralight, I don't think anything that Cold Steel is currently making is going to beat the Air Lite for me personally. Not only is it super, super light, it's super tough. And that's all the combination that I'm looking for from them. The only thing I'm likely to do as a modification is I find that as nice as these small thumb studs are, I think I want to extend them just ever so slightly and make them a little bit easier to catch on this corner. Because I think if you can do that, I think it deploys even more consistent than it already does, even though it doesn't really need it. But for me, I love this knife so much, I think it's probably worth the slight upgrade. I'm going to keep an eye out for a thumb stud that's going to work a little bit better. That's pretty much it for today. I really was hoping that the Recon 1 would be the upgraded Voyager, but because of that deployment hiccup, which I can't quite understand, I think I'm going to end up just getting another Voyager. There you go. Anyway, as always, thank you guys for your time, and we'll talk again soon.